Welcome back to my Mental Health and Crime channel. My name is Huda London. This is the case of the Idaho quadruple murders that took place on the 13th of November, 2022. This was from Fox News, this article, and I've showed you all a previous one from Daily Mail. It says that the Idaho murders, slain university student's neighbor says front door left wide open after attacks. The neighbor came across this at 8:30 a.m. We've been told that the killings took place, at the start we were told it took place between 3 to 4, and in the affidavit it was said that that happened around 4:05 in the morning. So that means the door was wide open. We've heard that the suspect came in from the sliding door. But are we sure of that? If they entered from the sliding door, did they come out from the main door? The other question I really have is, Bethany Funk lives in the first floor. It was cold. It snowed a couple of days later, so didn't she feel the draft? Or was there allegedly 2 sets of killers? Did some use the front door and did some use the sliding door? Is the question. The neighbor that said this was a neighbor who was on his way to work that morning. He said the doors were open at 8:30 a.m. So I think that is crucial. So was both the sliding door and the front door used? Because I don't believe the neighbor has any reason to lie. The police chief in Moscow, Idaho, was unaware that a neighbor had reported a door wide open. But I've seen another interview where Chief Fry says that, yes, a neighbor has said the front door was wide open, but I cannot speak about that until the trial starts. And if you read this one, it says, clerk at gas station near Idaho murder house spots a white sedan speeding away at 3:45 a.m. on security footage after poring over the tapes in her spare time for hours. That's a white sedan. A clerk at an Idaho gas station may have spotted a white sedan speeding away from the scene of the University of Idaho students of Campus House. An overnight assistant at the mobile station had been poring over surveillance footage from the night of the quadruple homicides on November 13. She found a white sedan driving real quick down White Avenue before turning down a side street at around 3:45 a.m. And let's not forget that the killings allegedly took place at 4:05. So this wouldn't make sense with Brian Koberger's timeline. Authorities estimate Kaylee Congalvis, Madison Morgan, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Conodle were stabbed to death in their King Street home between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. It remains unclear whether the white sedan is the white Honda Elantra police have said was near the scene when the murders occurred. Have you noticed, if y'all Google up and check how a white sedan looks like. It looks more like a sports car. And the white Elantra, we know how it looks like. There are two different makes of cars. They don't even resemble the same. And I've read another report, was it in Linda Lane, that the owner of those apartments said that she gave her CCTV, footages to the police, and she said the car that she saw in the footages was not a white car. It was a light color car. So when did things start changing so rapidly? Just pay attention to how many times the name sedan is mentioned here. Like 4 or 5 times? And the clerk who saw it would have known better than the police. That's why it's always important to go back to the beginning, and then we can find out what is what. Look at the timing, 3:45 a.m. The car was seen speeding. It was speeding away from the scene. It wasn't speeding to the scene. I wonder how they figured out these timelines and how they figured out the car. Because the gas station clerk would have known the footage better than the police, because she's the one who called it in.
Could this be the killer's handprint? The ghostly image appeared when this window was dusted for prints.
There's no doubt that it's an important item of evidence. There has to be a point of entry and a point of exit in a crime like this. If there is a handprint, it may be very significant.
I can show you. And we're learning that 21-year-old Kaylee Gonsalves may have been the killer's prime target. Published reports say that Kaylee was subjected to a more brutal attack than the other 3 victims. She was killed on the same bed along with her best friend, Madison Mogan. News Nation reporter Brian Enton is in Idaho covering the investigation.
There's a number of different theories possible. Since her wounds were more significant than Maddie's, is it possible she was the target? Yes. Or is it possible that she woke up and was trying to fight back and that Maddie was the target?
As the investigation enters its 4th week, Kaylee's father is expressing disappointment with the local police.
Do you feel confident in the police investigation and the people investigating right now?
I do not feel confident, and that's why I push the envelope and say a little bit more. I hate to be that guy, but there's a job to do for everybody. Has a job and a role to play, and this includes, this is my role as a parent.
He says he's raising money to hire a private detective.
Was this a targeted attack? I would definitely say it is. It has to be a targeted attack. You cannot just enter a property with 6 people in the property. You're not sure who's awake, who's sleeping. Even if they put off the lights, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily sleeping. They could be reading a book or doing something. For someone to have taken this chance, I believe, has to be more than one person. I honestly believe that. And the mystery still remains. Why did it take 8 hours for Dylan and Bethany to call 911? They didn't even call 911. They called multiple people from the Sigma Chi. Interesting characters to call. Let's not forget, On that night, that same night, there was the alcohol minor offense. The undercover police stopped those 4 minors, or 3 minors, and the guy with the bushy eyebrows. Then you had the 4 figures running. This is how the car looked like, and it doesn't look like a Hyundai. You can even see that the windows are tinted. They're dark screen windows. And then we have the 4 figures running towards the Sigma Chi, and they're coming from the direction of the victim's house. Around those directions. Why would somebody be running so late at night? Where was Jack that night? Was he playing PlayStation, or was he sleeping? Wasn't he at the corner club at 1:35? Please like, share and subscribe.